Okay, hello everyone, this is Sean, and this is part 5 of the Defiant build. As you can see, I'm starting to use the decals to put on the top panel decals. So I'm going to continue a bit. I'll probably work my way back, starting with panels 5 and 4, and we'll see how it works. So I will be back with those, and we'll take a look. Okay, I'm back. So you can see I'm about to put on these two pieces here. If you look closely, they have two different shades of green, one slightly darker than the other. So I'll put them on and we'll see how it looks. Alright, so here's the decals beside the deflector dish, just in front of the blue panels. You can see them here as they'll settle down over the phaser bumps. There. Okay, so I'm actually going to use 9 and 10, the gray, because 9 and 10 on the decals are just too harsh compared to the pearl blue. Alright, so I'm back. As you can see, I put on decals 9 and 10 around the pearl blue panel vents. Use the gray from the kit because it's way better than using the harsh ones. And I'm not going to use the very harsh 6 and 7 from Decals that go in these right angle sections. I am instead going to use the gray kit decals because they're a softer color. So I'll put them on and we'll see how it looks. But let me get a picture with these ones on here. There we go. So now I have some more decals, as you can see, and if you carefully go on the bottom, you'll see that some of them wrapped around not only the side, but the bottom as well. So it works quite well. So I'm going to move on next to decals number 15 and 14. And yes, I can use the Aqua set for those as well, so I'll be back. Alright, so 14 and 15 are in place on the ship. Had to work a bit to get them around the navigation lights, but I got it. There it is from the front. So I'm working my way back, making sure I never get any water on anything that I've recently applied. I'm going to focus on the small panels, the ones that sit flat, you know, like 21, 20, 22, 23, 25, 24, 27 and 28, and 30, and save the complicated wrapping around panels for when I'm at home. I'm getting into another section on the hull where I have to use the gray again, right on those two pieces, bracketing the front phaser mount. Alright, here we go. You can see the little gray panels there in front of the impulse reactors. So now on to the next pieces, which will be decals 24 and 25. So they will go here and here. Good, won't touch anything. And I can use the Aqua pieces for 24 and 25, as you can see on the far left bottom there. Alright, so let's see here. 24 and 25 are successfully in place. The next is going to be 26 and 29. So it turns out that decal 30 is the first one that actually is in 2 dimensions, as you can see. But I think I got it pretty close to center. Might just have to nudge it a little bit. See if I can do it on camera here. There we go. Alright, so there's that picture. And I'll move on to, I'm not going to do the decals 26 because it wraps around, but I will do 28 and 27, and then I think I'll just start packing up because the meeting ends at 3. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, so I'm back. I have done decals 27 and 28 from the Aqua set, as you can see here. And it still doesn't obscure the iridescent panels, as you can see. So take a few pictures here. And that will be the end of today, part 5A. Part 5A, section 1, because the panel decals are going to be part 5A. And the detail decals, registries, pinstripes, everything, will be part 5B. So that's all for now, and I'll see you all later for the next part of the build. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, this is Sean, and this is just a little interlude for part 5 of the Defiant build. I was trying to find a blue color from all my paint brands that would be a good substitute for, say, these grayish triangle pieces, those pieces with the thrusters in it, that one there, and these two. Now, it seems to me that if I make the lighter blue, perhaps the Tamiya light blue, to go on these gray pieces, and if I picked the Craft Smart Sailing Sky Blue to be on the darker pieces, then that would probably work. Of course, I'm going to make sure that I see what they dry to first before I commit to that. But it's amazing how it's almost a sky blue, the actual color that these panels are. So it is a blue, after all. Sky blue, yes, but it is a blue. I didn't know there were so many shades of blue myself. And you can see how there's a darker green. Now that's not, that's a bit darker than sky blue, that's for sure, but that's good. It's good that they have different shades. I keep the green, of course. I keep the green with the gray. You can see the Defiant here now that everything's dried for the night. Green and gray look good together. But you see how there's a gray dark there? That's the last dark gray besides this. It's going to be on the bridge. I mean on the top of the ship. This triangle piece right here is where that is going to go, and that's going to be recolored, one of the two blues. Probably the sailing blue myself, because medium blue is a bit too dark. Sailing blue looks good. We'll see what it dries to, of course. So that's all for this interlude, part 5, and I'll be back when I start applying paint to the decals. I'll show you my technique for that, because I realized I've shown you the end result, but never the process. So I'll be back. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, this is Sean, and I'm getting ready to repaint the darker panels on the ship, the bottom, so that if there's a mistake, it doesn't mess up the top, with the medium blue from the folk art. So we're going to see how it goes, because if it goes well, I might try repainting some isolated grays that don't touch anything else with the actual folk art light blue. So I'll set it up on the tripod and we'll see how we go. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to try the one on the nacelle first. Try not to get at the yellow, of course. But this is something I did with the Herbie model in 2019. Now the trick is not to get too much paint on the brush. Try and get it in the same orientation as the decal itself, so that you can actually go over it while it's on the ship. There you go. And then you just get very close to the edge, like so. here we are, skirting the orange, never getting on it, and then I immediately turn, so I'm not touching the orange anymore. You get up to it, you go around it. Use the panel line as a guide, and then you just paint the rest. Because it is watered down. Yeah. And then you get something like that. Hand focus. Well, you can see it. There you go, see? And that takes care of the darker picture. The darker piece. So I'm just going to let that settle in. We'll see how it looks. And then I'll come back and try that again with the other side. But that's basically the general idea. And then you touch it up as for necessary. But now you got some lighter blue where there was once a darker gray. Hello everyone, this is Sean, and I have begun testing the different blues on the ship. So, pointing device. One moment. Alright, so for instance, I used the the Folk Art Light Blue on this panel. And I used the medium blue on here. But then I realized a lot of the darker gray panels are actually a darker blue, so I'm starting with the Sapphire, Folk Art Blue Sapphire, because you see how dark the ultramarine blue is, and you see how sickly and almost nearly black, just like those parts, the actual navy blue is. So of course I'm not using that at all. So it appears I have a choice for the dark blue between the ultramarine and the blue sapphire. We'll see what they both dry to, and that'll help me determine everything. Oh, and you can see how I've cut the aqua set into pieces so it'll fit in a little bag. And there's the gray set from the panel decals. And you see I'm already deciding which blue to use, but it's not going to be the darkest blue. But it is going to be a blue of some type, because I saw some pictures of the Defiant online. I realized I had to do something. Yeah, so I think I'll probably switch this panel to one of these two blues. I will switch this light blue to a medium, so at least it shows up. And let's see what else I can work on here. Well, there is these. They look like a lighter gray than there. So I should be able to use them. That's interesting. Look, 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 look. It says 6 and 7 were supposed to wrap around, and yet they never wrapped around. That's strange. They were supposed to wrap around right there, and yet they never did. They weren't long enough. But you know what that means. Whatever color 6 and 7 are, I can wrap, if they don't wrap around, I can color them in manually. Let's see, so it's the outer edge here. So it's that outer edge and that outer edge. Now, if you look carefully, you will see that the sky blue is nearly, that's a folk art, is nearly the same blue as the panels. So if they were supposed to be aqua, I can certainly do that. Got the sky blue right there. So that's good. If a decal doesn't wrap around like it should, then I can paint it manually. And it'll be almost the same color as this. Now, that's a dry decal. The sky blue is dry by now. It's a little lighter, but that's okay because that's a bit of subtlety in the decals. But you don't want the, that's strange. Look, the green is almost the same color as that to me, a light blue, when it's applied. But I'm going to make it lighter so that it's softer. Don't want these. Those don't look nice at all. All right, so that's good. You've got the colors narrowed down. Got the whole color key here, and that'll be part 2 of the color testing. I gotta wait. This got to dry. But since I've decided on the dark blue, I might as well finish it with at least the dark panels that are not in more than one dimension. All right, so here we go. Oh, there we are. Now I can see all the panels. See, I even did the front of the deflector dish. I did what was light gray is now medium, dark blue. Now, of course, the interesting thing is, this is the sapphire blue on that side, the ultramarine blue on the other side. Now, it makes it dark, but it's still blue. So there's the 2 tests on the 2 sides as to which one will be the one to use. I'm not going to try and change these because they're like 3-dimensional, like they go over a curve. Same with this. There's a registry number in the way. And same with these because they have red stripes. But at least you got most of the blue, and you'll do the same, probably, on the top. When it's dry, you'll change a lot of the gray into the medium blue, which is right there. So, time to take the picture now so that you have the proper blue for the ship. There we go. So that'll be the end for today, because I got to give everything a chance to dry, but I certainly like it better. Still not sure which one of the dark blues I'll use, but we'll see what it dries to, and I'll make the choice tomorrow evening after work. So talk to you all later. Bye-bye. What I'm doing now is trying to match the aqua decal, that one, with the color from all my aquas. Now, you have the cards where you tested them, but the thing with the cards is I was mixing up all the colors and I didn't get it a color by itself, except maybe down in here or something. So I'm just going to mix up each color, but what I can do, if I don't find a good color, what I will do is I will carefully cut out the section, because I saved them all, of that part of the deflector, and I will just put on those 2 pieces, cutting them around the point of the thing. Because as you see, I've used Deco Art Sky Blue. Folk Art. I already put it on there. But it's drying too light compared to the rest of the panels, as you see. So I will use the other panel if I have to. But what I have managed to get done, carefully, is I went over everything that was said to be a lighter color. You see? I did the blue. I did the medium blue everywhere there was a gray on the top of the ship. Except there. I'm keeping that gray. And I'm keeping around the bridge gray as well. So we'll see how it works, and I'll be back with the results of the paint tests with all these colors, including my own mixtures. We'll see which one dries to the closest. Alright, so I have done the paint testing with all the colors. Folk art on this card, as you can see here. Actually, it's better if I go this way. And all the other paint brands here. Now, I tried to get the Tamiya light blue on as lightly as I could, but it's still too dark. However, this RLM from Model Master seems to be a good match for the decal. But there is another option. what I could try to do is carefully cut out that top section of the decal around the gold and put it on the Defiant. Because clearly that is too light. Or, because you see how the color changes from where it is on the ship and what it is on the sheet. Or what I could do is I could go over that with the Hellblau blue. And that just might do it. But I'm going to try that first. So I'll see what the result is. Well, there's the result of the paint put on the ship. Of course, we'll see what it dries to, but if I look at it and I compare it to the decal while it's still on the sheet, it's almost exactly the same color. So once it dries, it should dry to that. So that's probably the simplest solution of it all. And if all else fails, I can put the new decal directly over the old one. So that is the Defiant. I'm going to set up a beauty shot. I'm going to set this paint aside because that's the one that'll work. Alright, so there we go. There's the beauty pictures and the ship. And it already seems to be drying to the same color. I used the Q-tip to make sure it didn't impinge on the gold decal section at all. So there you go. You've got the exact match as far as I can tell. And that's the sum total of all the paint tests today. So that was what today was. Part 5A. Continued. Well, to call it Part 5B, paint tests and color corrections. So that's all for today. That's all for this weekend. I'll do more probably tomorrow night. I'll probably start applying some of the top panels that I haven't applied yet with the color corrections, because as you see, I don't have to use the gray in there because I already did the blue, the medium blue, which you can see if I turn the ship a bit. You'll be able to see it. So here we go. See? Medium blue. Oh, pointing device. Medium blue there. Medium blue there. Medium. Oh, and then I'll turn it around. Turning the ship around. Medium blue on top there because it's supposed to be lighter than the rest of everything. Medium blue there. And here and there, which contrasts nicely with the Deco art. I think it was Calypso. That was right in there. And this seems to be drying to the nice shade. Might end up being a little lighter than the decal, but it's a nice shade nonetheless. And you can still see the phasers through the panel and the iridescent. There's iridescent gold. I think you can see a bit of the iridescent blue. Yeah, so I'm quite pleased with how the Defiant's working out. It's got the nice blue trim. You use a fine enough brush and you can get it without any brush strokes. So that's the medium blue, pearl blue, pearl blue. So tomorrow I will do more decals and I'll make sure to paint them. Yes, which paint did I end up using? Which paint ended up being the best one? Give me a minute. Don't fall now. It ended up being the Folk Art Sapphire Blue. See in the light? Out of light, it's dark blue. That's the one that I'm going to end up using for any dark blue on the ship. Yeah, so talk to you later. Hope you had a good weekend. Bye-bye. Okay, so I've done the last painting for the evening, which is painting the dark blue panels on the top of the Defiant. That way I don't have to use the gray that's here at all. I can cut the aqua decals around it. And since I have the Model Master or Hellblau blue for matching the decals anyway, if something goes wrong, I'll be fine. And I wouldn't worry because I'm putting decals around it but not on it, if any blue runs under the decal, I can simply paint over it with this blue, which is matte. Well, I mean which matches the aqua of the decals. So once I've got the top panel decals down on the Defiant, which will probably be tomorrow night, I won't have to do anything else. Now, here's an interesting thing. You see the ultramarine blue? You see how from that side it looks like ultramarine blue, especially the dark side, but you see how the nearer side is closer to the sapphire. Now watch what happens when I turn the ship. I think you'll see it change color with the light. See, it got darker. But look, see how it's lighter with the metallics? That's exactly the effect I wanted. And look, it blends in and it's almost as light as the pearl blue. You see? And then you turn the ship around and it goes dark again. And then you see that becomes light again. So that's exactly the effect I wanted on the blues. And what I did very carefully with my finest brush is I went in on the bridge and I actually used my Model Master blue to approximate the shape of the decals, and it actually worked. And then, because these decals folded over on themselves, I used the Model Master blue there, and finally on the third coat I got it. It worked. And of course I used it on the here as well. But what I might do here, because it ran a bit, we'll see. I might put the other aqua decal over it just to smooth it down, but at least you've got a good base. So that's good. So there, I'm very happy with the Defiant. I'm happy with the smoothness of the color. But I do see how it almost seems to need... It's good. It's nice and smooth. So that is all for tonight, because now I have to let the top paint dry before I put on any more decals, which I haven't actually put on any decals tonight. So, but I'm happy. You've matched the folded over decal. You've got the medium blue where it needs to be. You've now got the dark blue on there. And it's time to let the model rest. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hey, hello everyone, I'm back. It's Sean, part 5C, I believe. So what I'm doing now is I'm carefully removing this decal so I can replace it with the green section that has the proper thing on it. And we'll see how it goes here. And I'll try to stick it on the back of this to preserve the decal for later. So I use the X-Acto blade to cut all along the bottom of it. I mean the border of it. And I'm just slowly lifting it off in one piece, hopefully. There we go. It's coming. At least I think it is. There we go, see? There you are. You peel the entire decal off carefully in one piece all the way along its border. There you go, see? See? Like so. And then you just plunk it down. Of course, that top part is gone now, but let's test the other theory. The other theory is saving the film at least, because that one part of the decal wrecked, but it's no reason you cannot save this part of the decal anyway. You see? You've saved this entire section of decal. So you just stick it down on the back of the card and it's saved for later, hopefully. And then, oh well, there they are, see? So you see, you already have the matching one. You just have to do the same thing on the other side. Carefully cut around the entire border. along the panel lines because they're so handy. Along the front, along the bottom, along the top. I know oh well, being a left-handed cutter might help. Because you might actually be able to see what I'm doing. Oh yeah, well, okay. There. Cut, 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 cut. There we go, see? Right down there. Good. That should work. So let's see here. Try to get under it. There you go, see? It's coming off from the one corner. Take the toothpick. You get under the rest of it and slowly peel it up. Maybe even with the tweezers. There you go. Turn it around so you can see. And you just slowly... Well, it's not coming off quite as it should, but it is coming off in pieces. So this piece will be discarded, and you'll practically discard the entire decal, including whatever wretched paint got on it. The gray paint, huh? So I'll be back once it's off. Alright, I'm back again. So I got fresh water. I have the two decals that have to go on the ship. So, that way. So I'll just cut them out here. I can save these two gold ones that went behind the bridge. I can save them for later. So they can go in here as well. There you go. Into the bag of green decals. Alright. So I got the decals ready, the new ones. Take the picture, because that'll be the thumbnail for part 7C. And I'll be back once they're applied. Sorry, thumbnail for part 5C. One of them anyway. Alright. So I have the first decal on. I can see immediately how the deflector housing is, it's not as light as what came from the kit. But this could be like a lifeboat. So in a way, it would look a bit different. But at least it has the proper green now. And it's aligned with the panel line. So I'll put on the next one. We'll see how it looks. Okay, so there we go. The green is on. It is aligned exactly, which is great. On either side of the phaser strip. Yeah, and you're right, they are darker. But that's okay. That's all right. So now, what comes next is cutting apart to compensate for the missing gray. So you have the sections that are going to go on the nacelles, but you have to cut out the gray first and keep all the other pieces. So I'll do that and I'll be back. So the first piece looks like this. Part 71? I know it's supposed to say 17, but for some reason it says 71, but that's the one. And I'll just have to cut it into its various pieces now. Alright, I'm back. So, the first piece, you have it like this. And then you lay everything on in the approximate position, like so. And align it with the panel lines. Kind of like that. That's how it should go. And we'll see how it goes. Too many compound curves and the decal folded over itself, came off its backing, so I'm going to paint it. I may just end up painting the entire thing because that decal wrecked too. Let's see if one of them works. At least I got the pattern though. Ah, and not just that, but the blue started coming off. Look, it peeled off like a layer. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put on the triangle decal and then try it again. You can see at the corner all that's left of the blue triangle decal, which is not a decal, it's actually the paint I put on it. So we're going to save the triangles after all. Good thing I labeled them. But it's going to be a lot of painting, that's for sure. But that's okay, because that is what I'm in it for. But at least I got one of them. So, painting in one section, decal in the other. And because you don't want the paint to run under the decal, I'm actually going to paint first. Yeah, write it down on the instructions here. Well, that didn't help as I had hoped, so give me 1 second, be right back. Got the proper Sharpie, so decal, paint. Alright, good thing I've got the proper thing in place. So, find decal number 7, which I hopefully labeled, because I'm going to need it now. It's a triangle piece. There it is. Got it. Right here. So, soak that in the correct orientation. There you go. So it's going to go on after all. We'll see what color it is when it's on. It's going to get painted the same color though. And while I'm working on it, I will paint the other parts. So put everything back where it came from. It's kind of frustrating, but now I know why I decided to mix up almost an exact match for the paint, in case the paint failed or decal failed. I mean, I didn't know the metallic would lift off like that, but now that it has, and I am going to fold the decal instruction sheet directly so I can see everything. So there, and yeah, there. There we go. So it's centered exactly on it. It's kind of disappointing, but on the other hand, it's kind of nice because you put the decal on and then maybe it'll end up being more green once it's on, but still it's going to be blue. That's all right though. But at least you know the blue you're going to pick for it. At least you know the sapphire blue works. Not the sky blue, no. And you do have the Model Master, which is a good color. I'm just going to have to paint more smoothly to make sure it goes on. So let's see if the triangle piece at least goes on properly. That's interesting. Once it's wet, look. There it is once it's wet. There it is once it's dry. It's well, when it's still on the sheet. It's interesting. It's kind of a greenish while it's on here. Very interesting. Oh, but it does look gray once it's on the hull. You're right. Right there. And then place. Getting all the water off. There we go. Oh, that's a neat effect. Look at that. It has a blue, midnight blue outline in it. Look at that. Because it stayed in the panel lines inside the ship. So there's a good photo to take. Yeah, that's quite something. So now I'm going to paint around it and we'll see how it goes. Show you on camera what I'm doing if I can. Bring the camera a little closer, actually set it on the mat. And angle this so you can see. And so that I can see. There we go. You can see something now. Just. Well, let me zoom in a bit. And angle it over. Oop, doesn't angle over. 1 second. Nah, it doesn't do it. Okay, here we go. So I'm doing the aqua, which is actually a Model Master Sky Blue, everywhere the decal was supposed to go, using the sheet to guide me. And then it goes beside, so it goes here. Now, how far down does it go? Yeah, it looks like it goes in here, a whole side. All right, there we go. We'll see how well it stays on there, of course. Yeah, let it run. I'm kind of glad in hindsight that I found the paint that is an exact match. There you go. See? That's great. There you go. Now, I don't know how well you can see it from where you are. I will zoom in, of course. Let's mark the guide. That's a good way to fix everything. To get it to work is to actually paint it and decal it. So once that decal is dry, I will then apply the proper blue on top of it. But I'm going to give it a base of navy blue first. So there you go. See? So if you zoom in a bit, bring it this way. There you go. There you are. Take the picture. That's good. It'll blend in exactly. See, already, while it's drying, you can barely tell the decal from the painted section. It's perfect, and I'll touch it up as necessary. So I'm going to try... what am I going to try on the other side? I'll try the decal again. We'll see. I'll cut it up into more pieces. We'll see if that works any better. So there are the pieces laid out in their approximate configuration to fit around the blue. So I'll try putting them on and see how it goes. Hopefully they're all small enough and solidly shaped enough. It's working so far, and you can see how the paint is drying over here. It's going to need new coats, of course, because it got a bit watered down, but that's the general idea. It's working slowly. More progress. It's working slowly, and this time it's not really lifting up the blue. So that's good. So I might not have to put down the blue, the gray triangle decal on this one, but we'll see. But at least that's proof that I put it on the right way. As in, I split it up into enough pieces to keep that irregular shape from falling over on itself. So after this decal's down, I'm going to touch up the paint on the other one. Side. Alright, so there we go. the decals on the other side. And of course the decal went on the front just fine. Now this side is going to require repainting, but you can see how it dried quite well there. Just a little bit in here. But overall, I'm quite pleased. The paint was exactly what it should be to match up nearly exactly. So I'm just going to do some more painting. Because look, you see how from the back it looks much fainter? But from the side, it actually shows up in the proper color. So maybe it just hasn't dried yet. So I will work on it again and we'll see how we get it done. But that is going to be the end of part 5C because that alone took on nearly 20 minutes. Of course, I'll edit this video and find out how much more I have to do to get it ready for posting, but that'll be about 3 weeks away. But in the meantime, I'm going to take the pictures now that I've refreshed the paint on the right side. And I'll try the other top panel decals, which is 29 and 26. I'll try those tomorrow. But so far so good. It's working quite well. I'm pleased. I mean, that's quite a interesting thing, having a gray outline on, a blue outline on the gray panel. Like, look at that. Let's zoom in a bit. But you see? That's a decal. That's the paint. It's going to dry to the same color, and hopefully those sections will as well. And there is the result of putting on the decals in separate pieces. So anything I have to touch it up with, it'll work. And you see, it didn't disturb the blue this time. It did not disturb the blue at all. And the back part of the blue never got disturbed. So the only blue I'm going to have to do is on top of that decal when everything's dry. And there'll be a few more decals like 89 and 90 to go along the front and everything. So that's all for tonight. And I will see you all here probably tomorrow for part 29. I guess it's D by then, which will be final panel decals and pinstriping before the registries begin. Not that there's not many registries on top of the ship, so maybe I can pretty well finish it tomorrow. But not quite, because 25 part 5E will be everything that's on the side of the ship, as you can see here. Alright, so one piece at a time, one bit at a time. And maybe I'll have to start part 6 for the pinstriping. I think I will. Part 6 will be the pinstriping. So I might as well see if I can do 26 and 29 now. Be right back. Alright, so I have the final two ready to put on. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, so that is the back panel decals, as you can see here. They're on. And if you lift the ship up carefully and look underneath, you can see that they're on there as well. And the microsol should help it settle in. And they're on the side. And the other side. And they fit around that notch. So that notch is meant to be there. Now I will clean that up, because as you see, it's supposed to look relatively straight. But I'm pretty good. That's pretty good. That's the ship. I will take the beauty shots now of all four sides. So that's a decaled side. That's the new decaled front. And that's the painted right side. So I want to let the paint dry before I give the blue on top of that decal. But you can see how that blue lights up in the on the ship. And you can see how the blue comes out in the pearl paint, the metallic paint, like so. But look at how it looks almost black. But then you get it from the front, and they both look deep blue again. So that'll be colored blue. So there we go. There you are. And that's the end of this video. That's the end of part 5. I guess that was part 5C. So I'll put all that together, and then it'll be time to work on the bottom of the ship. I mean the sides. But yes, I'm going to have to do something about that to make that less watery and make it work better. I'll see what I can do tomorrow. Just a brief video to show that I restored the blue by painting on top of the decal, and it looks virtually identical to the others. And it still has that beautiful pattern. Now it'll smooth down, but I'll take the pictures now. And I had refreshed the green a bit to hopefully fix everything, but I like the blue because it turns very light. See how dark it looks? And yet how light it actually is when the light hits it. See, it's a bit darker than medium, but not by much. That's why I'm using the blue, because it's like a chameleon color. So consider this the bonus clip for part 5C and the end of part 5. This will probably be the teaser of part 5, actually. So part 6 will be the detailed decals, both on the side and the top. So talk to you later. Bye-bye.